Pelaksanaan belajar mengajar di berbagai daerah dilaksanakan secara jarak jauh.
Perubahan sosial di tengah masyarakat memberikan dampak besar terhadap kondisi kegiatan belajar mengajar saat ini. Hal ini menciptakan sebuah tantangan tersendiri bagi dunia pendidikan untuk senantiasa siap melakukan proses transformasi. Dengan segala keterbatasan yang ada, kegiatan belajar pun harus tetap berlangsung demi terwujudnya sebuah cita-cita serta kelangsungan masa depan seluruh anak bangsa. Melihat hal tersebut, peran seorang guru menjadi sangat penting dalam proses adaptasi dunia pendidikan menghadapi sebuah tantangan. Karena melihat upaya yang dilakukannya seolah menjadi bukti bahwa sosok seorang guru tetap memiliki semangat dan komitmen untuk anak didik, walau dengan segala keterbatasan. Apakah saat ini sudah ada solusi untuk memastikan kegiatan belajar mengajar dapat berlangsung tanpa hambatan? Berangkat dari tantangan ini, Lenovo bersama Microsoft hadir mendukung transformasi digital dengan solusi yang lebih cerdas. Bukan hanya mampu mengatasi masalah tantangan, Lenovo menghadirkan teknologi yang mempermudah kegiatan belajar mengajar dan meeting online tanpa ada batas. Lenovo hadir dengan 3 solusi yang dapat mempermudah segala kegiatan jarak jauh. Movable Video Conference Kit merupakan produk solusi dari Lenovo yang memudahkan seorang presenter untuk berpindah-pindah tempat dengan tampilan meeting yang sangat informatif, yang terdiri dari sebuah rack, dilengkapi dengan kamera, 2 monitor, serta perangkat penghubung yang bernama Lenovo ThinkSmart Hub. Lenovo ThinkSmart Hub merupakan solusi all-in-one yang dapat terhubung melalui Microsoft Teams Room serta memiliki stabilitas koneksi yang sangat bagus demi menunjang kebutuhan presenter ketika melakukan meeting. Perangkat ini memiliki layar sentuh 11,6 inch yang bisa berputar 360 derajat dengan kualitas audio yang dilengkapi mikrofon dan speaker berkualitas tinggi. Solusi berikutnya dari Lenovo yaitu Distance Learning with Live Studio. Solusi ini mempermudah pelanggan untuk mengcustomize layout dari video output sehingga tampilan dapat lebih bervariasi dan sekaligus dapat melakukan aktivitas streaming broadcast di media sosial. Dan solusi yang terakhir dari Lenovo yaitu Hybrid Learning dengan auto tracking camera dan whiteboard. Solusi ini diperuntukkan bagi pengajar yang ingin melakukan kegiatan belajar mengajar di dalam kelas online maupun offline. Solusi dari Lenovo ini lebih fokus pada penggunaan tracking camera dan audio system yang advance, serta dapat mendukung kebutuhan ruang kelas yang lebih luas. Dalam kondisi apapun, kita harus selalu berkembang dan berinovasi agar dapat terus beradaptasi menghadapi setiap tantangan. Karena dengan semangat bertransformasi akan membantu kita untuk dapat mencapai sebuah tujuan dan memastikan kelangsungan dunia pendidikan di masa depan. Lenovo, Smarter Technology for All.
Good afternoon all. How are you? I hope everyone is in a good health. Welcome to the Lenovo Admission Program Digital Wellness during Distance Learning Activity. At the end of the event, there will be door prizes and also very interesting merchandise for the 50 participants who filled out the feedback form. I, Rutdiana Anggodo, will become your host and moderator for today. Previously, I would like to inform the speakers who attended this event, namely Mr. Johny Dermawan, the Director of Lenovo Indonesia, Mrs. Haifa Seger, for the Chairperson of PSSI, Mrs. Anastasia Satriyo as the Child Psychology, and Ms. Sutaningrat S.P Dewi, the Social Impact Division of PSSI. Before we start this event, I would like to read on behalf of Ms. Haifa Seger, I want to opening this event with the remarks because she has to go for the accepting the vaccine that given by the government today. So on behalf of her, I want to open this now. As one of the pandemic impacts, education adapts to teaching and learning at a distance. The workload and the learning load of adopting a new delivery mode is taking a huge toll on the lives of those in education field. This is an immense problem that is growing rapidly. While there are some students who are thriving through online learning, the toll of the virus, isolations, increased workloads, and other associated effects are rising among many students, staff, and teachers. It must not be underestimated. Every institution must address these challenges that threaten the well-being of their constituents. In the meantime, one of the changes that the pandemic brought to all aspects of our lives is the transformations to the digital technology, included in the education field. Technology is a powerful tool that can support and transform education in many ways, from making it easier for teachers to create instructional materials to enabling new ways for teachers, also students, to learn and work together or collaborate each other. One of negative impact we should all aware to students and staff, also parents, of being online all the time is their wellness. If I may say, digital wellness. Teachers are feeling the huge stress of remaking their classes into effective digital forms. Most students are feeling the strain. For many, that strain begins with the eyes. Too often, we separate the consideration of mental health from physical health. These two are deeply interrelated. Supporting the mental health needs of online students is a critical mission for each education institution. The radical change in lifestyle can feed loneliness, anxiety, and even lead to depressions. Teachers are now at the front line of responsibility for identifying emotional and mental health issues. We need to be both vigilantly observant of possible symptoms of serious problems while at the same time being gracefully supportive to our learners. Do your teachers know what to look for in identifying emotionally struggling students? Especially, do they know how to connect these students to help? From this webinar, we will learn about how to be more aware, also to find solutions to maintain our digital wellness from all perspectives, academic, psychology, and technology. We wish today's session will give the benefit in our best practice in each education institution where we are at. To make these uncertain times become more productive and brighter situation to us, school leaders, teachers, parents, and students. Happy learning, everyone. Uh, so now I want to call Mr. Johny Dermawan as the Director of Lenovo Indonesia to give the welcoming speech and the introduction of the program. Thank you.
Thank you, Bu Ruth. Thank you, everyone, and good afternoon, and welcome to this webinar entitled Digital Awareness During Distant Learning Activities. Yeah, thank you for the speakers and partners who will be presenting today as well, and to all participants who stream to this webinar. As we know, digital transformation is spreading in almost all sectors, right, including education. So due to the pandemic that started last year, so it's almost like more than 12 months for us, right? The teaching and learning process has changed. Yeah, we see a lot of our children's friends, relatives can no longer conduct the learning from school. Yeah, so a few things that we see that is actually impacting our life. Yeah, it's actually started when last year most of the government, including Indonesia government, began to make a strict regulation so that learning activity should be carried out in our own homes, right? This is to prevent the spread of the virus, right? Which is still ongoing right now. Yeah. So as on today, there are still many schools, right? They are not allowed or can't do the offline teaching. So most of us still need to do online learning, online teaching, right? So this is completely a new way, a time where students learn new ways to seeking information, right? Including using a variety of new technology to enhance their learning experience. At first, it will be very difficult, especially I believe for teachers and also parents, right? Like myself, right? However, this is a time when the technology transformation in education began, right? So along with this new learning, students today will enter a world of careers that they have never imagined before. Yeah, maybe in my life or in our most of our life, right? We never imagined that our children will face this situation soon, right? So and the education institution right now, the biggest task is not only like how we can actually so-called do the online or provide the online learning to our students, but also we need to prepare our students right now to adapt to this challenging transition period, especially when they are so-called going into the workforce in the futures, right? So these challenges are often unexpected, right? As this is the first time we are truly learning from home right now, yeah. So time spent face-to-face virtually present a new problem as well for teachers and students, yeah, let alone parents as well. We also experience that actually, right? Both teachers, students, and parents of students are still arranging how to manage screen time that is not only effective for learning, but it's also for maintaining their wellness, right, in this digital area, right? So in addition, online learning creates a feeling of isolation as well for some, yeah, not only for teachers, but it's also for students who lose times to build their social skills with their environments, also interaction with their friends, right. So there's also much less direct interaction between the teachers and students. For that, we need a joint effort together in building students' adaptability and bonding between teachers and students so that teaching and learning process can run effectively. At Lenovo, because we are a technology company, right, we are committed to empowering teachers and school through this digital transition, right? We have a program, we call it Advision, right? This is actually a program that we specifically designed, yeah, for to help institution in education to transform in the digital transformation journey. So on this program, we provide free access to various tips and tricks related to the use of technology through the Advision website and newsletter as well. Our objective is to make a platform for faculty to share ideas and utilizing technology to drive transformation, not only for learning, but also for your digital wellness as well. For some teachers, students, and parents, managing this workload is very important. With good digital awareness, technological devices can be utilized to achieve personal goals such as receiving lessons. We believe by equipping our teachers, parents with sufficient insight about digital wellness, is expected to be able to make them understand how students should interact healthily with the technology or devices they use, right? So last but not least, I hope all the participants will enjoy today's webinar, and I hope the teachers will still be very enlightened and remain optimistic during this challenging time. Okay, thank you. Pass it back to you again, Bu Ruth.
Thank you, Mr. Johny Dermawan. I corrected your title. Your title is the Real Director of Lenovo Indonesia. Okay, and then next, I will invite Miss Anastasia, who will give us presentations on the digital wellness in distance learning activity. Miss Anastasia, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ibu Ruth, and welcome everyone in this exciting semi-webinars. And I want to introduce you as a child and teenager psychologist as well as a mental health advocate. I really believe that in a mental health area in our life. When we want to help other children or the students, we have to understand first our mental health and well-being. And since I know that this webinars is attended by the teachers and the stakeholder from the school, I think it's good that we want to learn first about our own emotions, and then we can help our children, because sometimes we just being pushed to know and to learn about the children, but we forget about ourselves, isn't it? So I hope this 15-minute presentation can give all of you a glimpse about mental health that I also practice myself, and I hope during the panel discussion we can talk more about the mental health. Okay, can the admin help me with the presentation? Okay, I will give my presentations about the mental health perspective during this pandemic. As we all know, we all experience the issue of health during this pandemic, but also it's not a physical health, it's also a mental health. And we all as a human being experience difficult time. Even in psychology area, we never prepared for this time of pandemic. And every time, every month, every day, me and the colleague of the psychologists in Indonesia always try to do our best to make all of us can survive. Even me as myself, I also go to my psychologist once in a month so I can help better for other people. The perspective is like when we go to the airplane and how much we miss doing the traveling, right? In time of this pandemic, when we go into the airplane and there's the turbulence, the oxygen mask should be first put in ourselves first, and then we can help others. As well as teachers and parents in this era of pandemic, we should taking care of ourselves first before we help the kids. Sometimes we still have the mindset that, oh, the good teacher or the good parents is the one who sacrificed all to the students or to the kids, or the more we are tired, the more we do our best. But now we understand that when we come from the place of self-care, we can help the children better. And as we all know, we experience pandemic fatigue and burnout. It's not a mere stress. It's more than that. It's a fatigue, mentally fatigue, physically fatigue, and also burnout. Have you ever heard about this pandemic fatigue or burnout, or have you ever read about it? I will share you some of the symptoms, but not make you scared about yourself. But I also give some of tips and solutions so you can try at home. And if you already try it at home for 2 weeks or 1 month and there is no improvement in your mental health issue, you can always talk with the counselors or the school HR, or even going to the psychologist or psychiatrist, because healing is possible for our mental health and we don't have to suffer alone. Okay, I want to know from this about 81 attendance of participants in this room. Can you describe to me, if you feel comfortable, what kind of symptoms that you feel? For example, during the first time of pandemic, I experienced insomnia, and it came from me like 4 cycles of insomnia. So after the first insomnia, I do the breathing, I do the exercise, I make my schedule, I reschedule myself, going to the psychologist, and then when the case of COVID is increasing, my insomnia came back. So it's the perspective of mental health. It's not a one way like at all. It's like a cycle. Sometimes we can cope with it, sometimes we can't. And during this year of 2021, we already hit the 1 million case of COVID. So I believe it's all impact ourselves. As well, in my family, there are some persons in my family already died because of COVID, and also even myself having the COVID on the last December to January, and then 2 weeks ago is my father. So I think we all experience this kind of things, especially that we also have to work. We have to still teach the children and to running the school in this time of pandemic. If you allowed me, can you share to me what kind of fatigue, stress, or physical symptom? Because stress is the body keep the score, the body absorbing all the emotions. So the intense emotion sometimes make us having the stomach ulcer or having gastritis issue, or even me, my skin break out because of the stress. So it's part of being human, and we can learn how to cope with our stress. Oh, this is one. Oh, there's the anxiety from Ibu Iin. Bapak Kadek, I soar every morning. Anxiety, yes, it's very true. And then we can learn to understand our anxiety with I call it the emotion thermometer. So for ourselves, and we can teach our children from scale 1 to 10, how much you feel your emotions. It can be the happy emotion, it can be the anger, it can be the anxiety. So every day, using the mental health check-in, or every morning to check to yourself or check to your students from the scale 1 to 10, how much do you feel the intensity of emotion? Because when it's higher than 6 or 7, and it's, by the way, it's a subjective experience, so there is no right or wrong in here. When you feel the intensity of emotion is higher than 7, you will feel the physical symptom also. So it's very important to understand. And the interesting part is our brain can cope with our emotion when we can name it and we can understand our emotions. So sometimes in Indonesia, it's just the recent times we just understand the emotion and mental health, isn't it? At the previous time, we learn to suppress our emotions or just be reactive, but we can do it in between. During the training in company or in school, it's called assertive communication, and we can also do it to ourselves, like we can experience our emotion and naming, and by naming and knowing the intensity of our emotions, our brain can calm. Okay, next slide. This in the next slide, I will give you. I will ask you first. Do you miss anything from the life before Corona? They call it BC, before Corona. What do you experience? What do you miss? For me, I miss chatting up with my friends. Some of my clients this day, during my counseling session, the online counseling, they said that, oh my God, Miss Anas, I miss talking with my colleague and just laughing about things. It makes my heart, it's make my life better when I can talk and laughing with my friends. And now I just being at home, taking care of my 2 daughters. My daughters have some issues with their health, and also I have issue with my mom. So it's very hard for me. And I want to know what you experience. Oh, Ibu In miss outdoor activities. Yes. And we also miss watching cinema, ya. Oke, ada yang yes, miss watching the theater. Oke. Merindukan nonton, ya, and all social activities. Yeah, I love theater so much, and going to the orchestra or the everything with the music and dance, and we cannot see it yet. And miss family gathering, also basketball. Yes, you can share whatever you miss during this pandemic situation, because just by acknowledging this, we can also feel better. Just a little tips that we can do it in our life, because I believe that we all have to know emergency taking care of our mental health for daily life, because not everyone can access the psychologist, but we all have body and physical self and spiritual and mental self that we can taking care day by day. Oh yes, we miss teaching the student face to face, as well as me as a child psychologist. I also got a certificate as a play therapist from UK, and I really miss seeing my clients, my child clients in the clinic. Yeah. Oh, doing dating. Yes, it's very hard. It's very hard doing the dating in times of this pandemic, isn't it? We have to do the swab test first before we meet our loved one and gathering with other people. Yes, we miss great team and students. It's very heartwarming to see this kind of what we miss, because we are human, right? Okay, you can still keep writing it, and I will move to the slide so we can have another panel discussion. Next slide. And as an online educator and also our students, we experience burnout. For me as a child and teenager psychologist, of course, I'm the first one who learned and who got the information from the students how they experience the burnout. But since this year, I also heard from the teacher how much they are suffering. And as Pak Johny Dermawan said, it's not an easy time for all of us, and especially for the teachers. For me, I just have a reflection for doing the 3 or 4 hour Zoom meeting. I already feel like very headache and very tired, and I cannot imagine the teachers in Indonesia every day has to do the Zoom teaching or conference. So for all of you, I want to give you some special spirits for having this time of pandemic. And also you can hug yourself and give a self puk puk, pat your back like you did a great job and you are enough. In this time of era, sometimes we feel that what we are doing is not enough, never meet the expectation, isn't it? Like there's much more that we have to adjust and much more that we have to understand, but having the mindset of abundance as good enough, just good enough for today, is also help us to face this pandemic that we don't know yet how long it will take us in Indonesia. Next slide. And I will give you some signs of online learning burnout. I believe that you can Googling it, and I want later on I want to have a discussion, because the discussion with the expert is the important things, because for all the information I think you can Google it down. Next slide. So I want this online learning burnout just give us precaution, so we can taking more ourselves seriously, not make you frightened, and just to experience that we all experience this. The first one is if you have a chronic fatigue. So if you already sleep for some 10 hours or 8 hours and you waking up in the morning still feel very tired and like what I have to do this morning. But actually there's no one person like in the advertising, like waking up, I woke up like this, like already got the power like Beyonce. We are not like that. So we always need time to get intact to ourselves. And then the number two, there's already one mentioned. Number two, we are easily angered. Especially when there is much more demand and changes in the last minute. It's not that I suggest that you don't have to be angry. It's very healthy to be angry, but we also want to understand the awareness of the intensity and the frequency and also the duration. And do you feel that yourself like to criticize yourself more often? Like for me myself, when I already experienced, oh my God, Anas, masa gini aja nggak bisa sih? How can you cannot do this? How stupid are you? Even there's something like there's inner critical voice in your head. So watch out. Maybe you are in a burnout situation. Maybe you are lack of rest, or maybe we are hungry, because there is hangry, right? Hungry make you angry. And then the fourth is like we tend to be more cynical and to see everything in a negative side and easily irritated. The fifth is that if you have any headache, even though you take the medicine, but the headache cannot not disappear, that nowadays I really glad that all the physicians in Indonesia, doctors in Indonesia already learned that there's the connection between the physical health and mental health. Even World Health Organization said there is no health without mental health, and I can say that there is no mental health without proper nutrition, good sleep, and good quality of rest. So when every time you feel like physical symptoms and you go to the doctors or you take the medicine and there's nothing improvement, maybe it's emotional. And even for me, when I was in a junior high school, I experienced a lot of stomach ache because I just realized that I have the genetics of high anxiety from my family, and it's not common to be aware of it in Indonesia, because my little sister that got asthma got treated from 7 years old, but I only got treated after I was 17 years old, and after I experienced my first depression. Then my family realized how much important this mental health. So when we experience a lot of headache, even the gastroenteritis issue, or even the skin or whatever, taking care of our mental health is also important. And do you realize when you are very tired or anxious, our breath becomes short? And also the feeling of helpless. This feeling of helpless is common during this pandemic, since we are not the government, we are not the decision maker in Indonesia, even we are the victim, right, of all this PSBB, PKPM, whatever is it, and then we feel very helpless. And then you can ask yourself from 1 to 10, how much you feel helpless right now, because it's important to know our point, to know what is in our control and what is not. Okay, I see a lot of people showing their heads like this, nodding head. So I feel that hopefully this is resonate with you. Next. And that's the precaution I want to give a hint about how to prevent, or even if you already experience the online learning burnout, it's how to maintain our stress, because as you know, stress is not being replaced. Sometimes we have to manage the stress, or like navigate it. It's not about disappearing the stress, because when we don't have any stress, we also cannot live our life. For example, like the first 3 months during the first pandemic last year, and I don't have any client, I don't have any job, or it's also feel stressed because you don't have something to do. So the good stress, the good enough stress, is the one in the middle. But the middle of everyone is different. The capacity of everyone for handling stress is different. That's why it's very important to know your own self. Next. The first one is relax. It seems like simple, but it's not easy, right? Especially for everyone that have a lot of running in their head during the time. I also have ADHD, so it's kind of hard for me to just be relaxed. So I learned breathing exercise. There is 2 types of breathing exercise that I want to give for all of you in this room. The first one is breathing using the belly breathing. So when we breathe using the chest, it seems that our emotion just gets stuck in our body. But when we do the belly breathing or diaphragm breathing, we can use the breath to inhale and exhale our current emotion. So it's like the inhale, you pump up your stomach, and then exhale, you shrink your stomach. If it's not common for you, you can put your one hand in your chest, one hand in your stomach to see the movement of your breath. So it's up to everybody and you can use the technology. You can use the breathing apps. There is the breath ball. I guess the breath ball can give you a visual help, so you can do the inhale, and then the ball will get bigger, and then exhale, the ball will get smaller. Or sometimes I use the Bali Usada apps, the meditation for health, not related to any religious affiliation. So, but we can use this for yourself. You can try it. Maybe I can give you 3 or 5 breathing moment, and after that we experience another breathing exercise called the breathing box. Okay, let's try. Inhale, palm your stomach, and exhale, strain your stomach. Inhale, realize the softness of your breath, and exhale. One more time. Inhale and exhale. When you can do it by yourself, you can adjust the rhythm and you can adjust the counting time. The important thing is that I didn't learn it when I graduate from University of Indonesia. I learned it from my meditation teacher. But actually during the research, we now realize that there is a very big correlation between our mind and our breath. We cannot control our mind. Our mind is like a monkey mind, isn't it? But when we can control our breath, and our mind get calmer and calmer. So you can do that. Another second thing is that I also teach the teenagers is using the square breathing or breathing box, is using our hand to give a sense of security and safe, because anxiety comes when we don't have any emotional safety or not feeling safe emotionally. And it's very common, right, during this pandemic. So we do this like the breathing exercise, like inhale, pause, exhale. Inhale, pause, exhale. Inhale, pause, exhale. You can repeat after me and try it yourself. How do you feel in your body? Inhale, pause, exhale. Inhale, pause, exhale. 3 more times. Inhale, pause, exhale. Inhale, pause, exhale. And last one, inhale, pause, exhale. And after that, breathing. Sometimes during a very burdened day, you can do the breathing like, and using your sound like that. So you can feel that the emotion is coming up from your body and not get stuck and make you have a physical issue. Okay, next slide. And we can do the movement exercise, because now we see that there's a big correlation between movement and mental health, and even movement and learning. So a lot of times before the pandemic, I give webinars about sensory-based learning or brain-based learning, that we now understand that movement is very important for learning in students. So for me, that I'm not a high core of exercise, I cannot do the HIIT. For me, even like walking in the morning, like this morning, walking for 15 or 30 minutes is just good enough for me to have a focused brain to do the job. And even after a very hard counseling day or session, I just do the walk and I feel better. So hopefully this can help you after the online learning. Next. And the last is making a mood journal. And I also use the mood tracker like Mood Notes or MindDoc. So we can use the technology for the digital wellness for the good things. Because for me, my client, the adult or even the teenagers, when they use the mood tracker in their apps, they can know about themselves and it's very friendly with them. So hopefully it can help you too. Next. So for my last message is, let's boosting up and enhance our self-care strategies. It's not about how to deal with stress itself, but also how to enhance our self-care strategy for mental health. If you Googling it, you can find 80 more resource to do the self-care. So I can suggest you are the one who know yourself. So for example, there is one era that people like to do the drawing for self-care. They said, for me, I don't like drawing, so for me it's not give me a soothing things or relax. So please find your own self-care strategies that can help you. For example, that a lot of people, I believe, like to watch the Korean drama, isn't it? So one self-care strategy is watching Korean drama, but we have to add another things that we do the movement or we do the breathing. And nowadays now we find that a lot of good nutrition is help us to maintain the anxiety. Next slide. So it's a reflection for ourselves. This is the self-care wheel. I believe some of this already we did already in ourselves, isn't it? And I just added the emotional self-care. So hopefully this is added some more interesting resource for yourself, because like the Kung Fu Panda movie, we just want to add another movement for menambah jurus gitu ya di dalam hidup untuk meningkatkan self-care kita dalam our time in this pandemic. So if you already did the spiritual self-care, it's good. The physical self-care, of course, the professional self-care like today, personal self-care for yourself, and also the emotional self-care. So you can find your own needs and you can find your own resource to do the self-care. Next slide. So if you don't like to do the apps for the mood tracker, this is what I suggest to you. Is the same thing that I give to my clients. Then they report for me after 2 weeks they did it. They feel much more patience and much more ability to control their anger. So it's very interesting. Just by taking care of ourselves 5 to 10 minutes a day, we can have improvement in our quality of life. So you can write down the experience, the emotion, and then ask yourself the intensity from 1 to 10, and what's the thought coming in your mind, and what you wish, and you can give your own self-talk. Because me myself, I'm not really into the motivator, because sometimes the motivator very extrovert while I'm an introvert person. So I make my own positive self-talk. It's just like say, thank you ya Anas, makasih ya Anas, hari ini udah usaha. It's okay if today is not a good day, but we can try for another tomorrow. Sometimes like that, it's also help us. Next. And finally, it's about relax, to refresh and to revive. Sometimes in this era of modern life, we just push to do more, and do more. But sometimes we can do more, just take time to relax, and as simple as doing the breathing exercise. Okay, next slide. And okay, it's not really appear, but I read it is that we cannot pour from an empty cup. So please take care of yourself first. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for Miss Anastasia for the very interesting presentations. So if you fill the feedback form that the Lenovo team shared in the chat, then you can also get the presentation of today's by Miss Anastasia. So later, make sure that you fill the feedback form, yeah, and leave your emails address there. Okay, so next we want to have the panel discussions. This is to get deeper for the technology perceptions and the psychologist perception, and also from the academic perception about digital wellness itself. So I want to call all the panelists. The first one, Mr. Johny Dermawan is the Real Enterprise Account Leader in Lenovo Indonesia. He is a business development professional who have more than 20 years of experience, mainly in developing ICT-based solutions and services within South Asia market. He has extensive B2B experiences in working closely with companies in various business verticals as their trusted advisor for their investment in ICT-based solutions that allow them to run simpler, faster, and more efficient, predictable, and secure. Welcome, sir. And the second one is the Miss Sutaningrat Puspa Dewi. Ibu Puspa is an educational strategist who is currently leading PT Global Transformer in Nusantara, consulting some private schools and delivering trainings for educational communities in Indonesia. She completed her master's at Queen's University Belfast and her certification for level 7 strategic project management and leadership at Chartered Management Institute. Her passion in capacity building and human development has been a drive for her to keep exploring education sector for 360 degrees angle. Welcome, Ibu Puspa. And the last but not least is Miss Anastasia Satriyo. She was graduated from undergraduate education program at the Faculty of Psychology of Unika Atmajaya and took her master's degree in the Professional Clinical Child Psychologist University of Indonesia. Currently, Miss Anastasia works as a child and teenager psychologist, therapeutic play trainee in CAE Play Therapy International UK, and actively advocates mental health and as an mental health advocate and survivor. Welcome, Miss Anastasia. Okay, so we will start our discussions. I will ask to each panelist questions that related to the digital wellness. And if you, the participants, have another questions, you are free to ask in the question and answer box. And later we will give the question and answer to the panelists. Okay, for the first panelist that I will ask is Ms. Puspa. So, what is the best curriculum for distance learning in this pandemic situation?
Well, Ibu Ruth, actually, I asked this question to myself as well, like few months ago, because we know everyone was burnt out and everybody felt like this pandemic situation asked them to adapt a lot in the situations. And I was so happy when the government actually simplified lesson plans and simplified the bureaucracy. So I feel like at the time we still have hopes in this kind of situations. But then I start to reflect and think about it. What is actually the best curriculum for this pandemic situations? And I think from my perspective, it is a responsive curriculum. So a curriculum that can adapt to the situation. So in order to be responsive to the situations, I think we should consider some points. For example, the first one, I call it access. So we as a school community should consider whether our school community have access to the learning itself. For example, the facilities and the infrastructure, because we know that our conditions are varied and Indonesia is an archipelagic country. We cannot compare one location with other location, one province with other province. We face different situations actually. And then the second one, in order to be responsive, I think we should also think about the capacity of the school communities. Are we ready with this kind of situations? Are we equipped with the skills? Do we have the skills to do all the technology that are available? Do we have workload management to manage our works during these situations? And then the next one, after the access and the capacity, we should also talk about the support system, because education is a system. We cannot work alone. We need to work together hand in hand with the families, with the school communities, with the government. So we should check whether our support system are ready to our students in order to make the responsive curriculum. And the last one is impact. Have we checked whether our curriculum is meaningful for our students? Have we aware of the health impact, especially physical impact and the physical health and the mental health, like Ms. Anastasia mentioned? Because for me, well-being is also important, but often we miss this human side of the technology. We focus more on the hardware. We forget about the software in learning. That is our brain and our mental and our well-being. Therefore, I'm so interested to join this kind of topic and panel in this webinar, because I believe that we will discuss something that is really important.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Pipa. Now, in order to find the correct curriculum for these four aspects that you mentioned about now, Mr. Johny, so you already agree that the education is transition now to the all is like using technology. So what is the challenges, even though that we simplify the curriculum or whatsoever, like those 4 points? What are the challenges faced by the teachers, students, and parents in this transforming education in the technology?
Thanks for the question, Burut. I think at Lenovo, right, we as a technology company, we believe that transforming education is critical for society development. Yeah, but again, this cannot be done without any challenges, right? Because transformation is not without its own challenge as well. Looking into in education, those challenges are both technological and human. Yeah, because like a lot of human interactions still keep going on in the education, as like what Bu Puspa was mentioning, right? So let's look into like human challenges, right? We actually at Lenovo we did a study, right? That we found that students they perform better academically in school, where the school already introduced the use of smart technology in their everyday learning, even before pandemic actually, right? So upscaling educators and evolving their learning models to achieve this require considerable times and planning. So it can't happen just over the night, right? For the school who already implement technology, they actually so-called have gone through a journey, and the journey is not happens over the night. So like all of us, we have been in this situation for like almost a year right now, right? I think a lot of us already went through a journey as well, where technology touches our life. Yeah, maybe a year ago, we don't even know how to use a video call, right? But right now, I believe most of us already know how to do online meeting, right? And also can do so-called online learning. So again, it's kudos as well to all the teachers, right? Who all this time and even during their professional life has never do online teaching. But right now, they're able to do that, right? So there's a journey as well. And then let's look at the other thing is actually technological challenges. Educational institutions have a lot of essential administrators system, education resources, and student data as well. So when institution adopting technology, it's not only like let's make our class smarter, let's use technology, let's use a computer, projector, and all of those. It's not right, but institutions, school also need to be able to know how can we integrate all of this, how can we use technology to manage our day-to-day operation as well, right? So it's not so easy actually, right? So An education transformation requires the implementation of an overall digital strategy to fully integrate education tools with holistic digital solution. Yeah, that's one of the challenges that they face as well on technological challenges. So beside that, we believe that students and or teachers face new problem on time spent face-to-face virtually as well, right? This is actually different from conventional face-to-face. Teachers, students, and parents are still arranging. And me as a parent, right, even though I've been in technology company for years, right, sometimes I still struggle, right, to look at and also to help my children learning online. So it's a journey for all of us. It's not going to easy. It's going to happen over the night. It's a challenging situation for both human and technological adaptation for the school. But we as a technology company, we are here to actually help. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you. So we agree that technology is transformed in every aspect of the life. So it will be like example parents after they also work with the online working, yeah, for one day, and then they have to help the kids also in the completing their education. So I want to ask this to Ibu Anastasia. How about the maintaining self-care after a day of using an internet the whole day? Parents also the whole day using internet, students also, and everybody, yeah, even me, like the teachers, I'm using internet whole day. I still have to help my kids like that. So how is it then?
Yeah, the first thing that we have to understand the difference of brain development for the children and the adult. So it's much more important for the kids to have physical activity and exercise, even just at home. We can do a lot of things. Anything can be in it, anything like making the obstacle course at home or whatever, but they have to get moved, to get moving. Even sometimes we can use the technology like watching the YouTube, but for exercising for the kids, like using the songs or whatever. So it helps their brain to have a brain break, so they can just cool a little bit, and it's help them to have more better focus for another day of learning online. And for us as an adult, sometimes it's depend on the type of us. Some of us have the self-care time, having time for making the food, like everything in our control. Or sometimes nowadays we know a lot of people do the gardening, and also using the bicycle or just walking around. And sometimes, and I said to all of the parents and teachers that it's very important for us to help our kids have a stable sleep time. So after the kids sleep at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m., it's adult time. You can watch Netflix, you can browsing the internet for fun. And I think it's very, very important for our own self-care. And you can have your couple time to talk with your partner or your husband or your wife. So it's very important for us to maintaining the new schedule, the new normal schedule, so the kids and us can function better. I think that there's no ideal in this time of era, right? But we can do the best that we can. And I believe that it's a self-care that we can do daily. Just take the 5 or 10 minutes. So a lot of busy mom that I help just have the breathing time, or doing the breathing bowl, or just walking around. Or we can use, there's some people like using the fragrance, the aromatherapy, it can help them. So then don't wait until you burn out. Even we cannot wait until like, okay, I will wait for another Saturday. No, sometimes we need at night, right now. So we have to take the schedule just 5 or 10 minutes. Hopefully it help you.
Okay. Yeah, especially right now it's hard ya Bu ya. If we need pijit also, it's hard ya.
Oh my God. Oh, this one, I buy this on the marketplace because I cannot go to the massage place for my head.
Okay. So for the next one, to Bapak Johny, uh, our topic is digital wellness. It's like if we do a lot of the what is that screen time, it's like we are aware of our digital wellness. So what do you think that there is some roles of the technology in improving digital wellness for the students and teachers?
Okay. I think first of all, we need to take a look at admit, right? The problem arose in this new digital area, right? It is crucial to develop bonding between student and teacher as well. Because sometimes online learning creates a feeling of isolation, not only for teachers, but also for students. As we can see in the comments earlier, right? A lot of teachers also say that they miss their students, right? They miss going out to the school and teaching the school student face to face. So it's happened as well. It also happens like for students, especially kids, right? They lost their times in building their social interaction, social skills, right? And also interaction with their friends. For me as a parents, right? First of all, me and my wife, we did not actually so-called allow our kids to play a lot of online games, right? But one of the game that they're playing, we see that hey, their game is quite okay as well because they're playing a game. It's like they interaction, spiritually interact with each other, right? I don't want to mention the name of the game here, right? But basically, they can really interact there, and they can call their friends on the WhatsApp group, and they're talking to each other and playing in that virtual world, right? So we look at it at oh, okay, at least they can still be interacting with each other, right? But during an online class, we can see a lot of students, they just keep quiet. Yeah, so that will be a challenge as well. I think technology supposed to be able to provide a bridge in that area, right? And we also look at as a teacher, and maybe you also experience this as well. Teachers sometimes, beside teaching, right, they also need to help the students coping with anxiety and that feeling of isolation, right? Sometimes also teacher need to provide a consoling to for those students who maybe their family members are affected by this COVID or pandemic area. Also, we read also some news that how some young kids, young students took their own life because of the stress, right, during this pandemic area as well. So there's a lot of challenge here. So the way we from a technology company, we look at it like the technology actually must be the platform, yeah, for students and teachers to have a clear communication and strong bonding, right? So they can still continue developing their social skill through this technology platform.
So this one is a good way, yes. I mean, like the platform that connect to each other,
Yes.
teachers and students. Yeah, because we are so because of the isolated that we got from the pandemic.
Mm.
And Ibu Anas, I want to ask like, uh, if if the technology also will become one way of us to overcome to maintain our digital wellness. So it means we cannot apart from this technology, yeah, one day that one. So what are the things that need to be done for balancing emotional, physical, and mental health after we use that online and in everything in our every aspect of our life in one day like that?
Okay, this is a very interesting question. I think nowadays people already get used to hear the term the digital detox. So we need once in a time, once in a while, to even for me, I once did it. I think it's last week, just 3 hours. 3 hours shut down my handphone on a Friday in a Friday evening. So there's no another job, right? Or even I go walk, but I don't bring my phone. So it feels like a very fresh air. Sometimes we don't use the watch also because the watch make us very alert of the time just to enjoy the time. They call it being mindful. Sometimes we can do mindful using the breathing exercise. Sometimes we just walk and strolling around in the outdoor area, so we don't we still use the protocol of COVID, and then we can just be with ourselves and just relax. Or sometimes I think we can use also the use of books, that we can still use the books, handing physical book just to read, though maybe some of us have also the Kindle one, but this kind of physical activities really help us, and using the sensory experience, like having some I think like some texture of clothes, or the plant, we can touch the plant. We have the pet in our home. Pet is also helpful for the kids, even when they having the turtle or fish or dog or cat. It's also suiting them during the sensory experience. And baking or cooking, I think that's what that's the thing that we can substitute during this time of pandemic.
Okay, it's interesting. Yeah, I like to cook also.
Nice.
It's my patience. So become more patient. Yes.
Yeah, it's also help for our mental health.
Yes. Okay. So now, if you know the impact of the technology in the what is it, mental health, and when physical, also emotional, also we cannot avoid the technology in the future, also from now to the future. So how do you see the impact distance learning for school community, Ms. Puspa?
I think we all agree that every big events always have two sides. So we have the good side and the bad sides. I call it opportunities and also challenges. So in terms of opportunities that we have experienced during this pandemic, actually we see that actually we can simplify something that is complicated. So throughout these months, I have observed that actually we can make something more effective with the technology during the distance learning. We can make something more efficient with the technology. This is something that we actually can be keeping even after the pandemic is over. So this is a really good opportunity and learning journey for all of us to actually transform, like Pak before mentioned. And also the challenges is something that I have mentioned before, like the access and then capacity, support system, and the impact. Those four things is actually something that needs commitment. So we need to keep working on it, and also sustaining the change that we have made, especially the best practice that we have experienced, that we have accomplished. So we can keep this good stuff for something beneficial in the learning in the future.
Okay, thank you. It's a good, yeah, it's interesting. Actually, this one I want to ask you again. With the massive impact of the COVID-19 in all sectors, yeah, this one is about the future. So should we, as the educators, be worried with the future of our children?
To be honest, I think we all will be worried with this situation. But so I have read something really interesting on LinkedIn, actually. A survivor of the World War II mentioned that actually even after the war, they still can live normally. They can get a degree, they can get a job, they can live like normally. So actually, we all on the same boat, and we face the same storm. So this is something that we face together. We are not facing this alone, but everyone experienced the same thing. So this is a good testimony, I think, and actually we are not underestimating these situations, but I believe that we can go through this. It is obviously the worst year ever, but this is also the best learning curve or learning journey so far that I think that's something that we can highlight during this era. So we learn a lot, we think a lot, we reflect a lot, and we also innovate a lot. So we shouldn't be worried a lot, but instead we should be sustaining, like I mentioned before, sustaining something that we have accomplished so far, and also working on our homeworks to get the solutions for something that we haven't overcome so far in this situation.
So it's interesting, yeah. This one, during the dark times, we still have to time to reflect, to learn, and to do something to be more productive. And now I want to go to Miss Anas, because this one is the future of our children, yeah. If you think this one is like the technology is like the screen time, especially, yeah, if it is like we're going on, maybe I don't know, next school year we still can do like this or no. So in the health issue, is there any relation between difficulty of sleeping and using a screen that's too long?
Yes, it's already there's studies and research about the difficulty of sleep and the correlation with the blue light on the screen. So it's important. We call it the sleep hygiene. So 2 hours actually for the children, 2 hours before the bedtime, they already put off their screen or gadget and doing the ritual for bedtime. For example, doing the bedtime stories for the younger kids and just still playing, but on the bed area, so they already know about the time to sleep. But it's very hard for the teenagers because the technology and the social media also their tools to connect with other persons or friends, and sometimes they connect with friends in a diverse country for in this time of era. So I think for the teenagers, we just to give them understanding about the digital safety. And nowadays there's a lot of violence using the technology. So I think it's very important for them because our brain actually cannot differentiate between the internet and the real life, the social media in the internet. That's why there's a lot of accidents in United States. For example, some online bullying get into the suicide act for the kids. So it's very important for us to make the children understand that when we get the love, the like in the social media, as well we get the angry comment or some bullying things, is also affect their physical and mental health, as well as we use the nice words. So I think to have a good online attitude behavior, I think is one of the things that we have to addressing to the children also.
Okay. So it's complicated, yeah. It's like two sides. One is good, one is have also the impact.
More human, more complicated.
Yes. So this is the last one, I think, from the technology side. What the effect of the will technology have on the future of education, do you think, Mr. Johny?
Okay. I think if we look at it for the past 1 year, right? COVID might be one of the key the key person or a key things that actually be responsible in the explosion of the digital technologies right now, right? Because COVID actually changed a lot of people's lives, but COVID at the same time also bring technology into a lot of people's lives, right? So we see that, and especially for education. So in terms of education transformation is changing right now faster than ever, right? And education institution today, they also must prepare their students for careers that are yet to be imagined, right? So a lot of students right now, when they finish study, they will actually go to the workforce, right? They will go to workforce. So a lot of workforce right now or workplace, the one that we're working is also changing. So there's actually a report from the World Economic Forums. They highlight this growing demand from a lot of firms, right, or technology firms, right? That's actually the ones to adopt a technology, right? So technology will be the base for the working process. So a lot of them, right, in order to actually so-called manage the skill gaps between the technology that they're going to adopt and the employability, their preference is also hiring a new permanent staff that already possess that necessary skill, right? So they can actually adapt faster and they can actually be more productive faster, basically. So this is actually the future we want to address now. Yeah, if we look at that. So we also take a look like a lot of students, they will enter the career life that at this moment is yet to be imagined, right? But for sure, we know that technology will actually be an impact or be a very important part of the working space, right? Even they're working by themselves or they work for a company, technology will be there. A lot of companies will base everything on technology, even an AI, a smart IoT things, right? Smart analytics, it will be all on technology. So we in the education institution, I think right now, what important is actually for the education institution to first, they have to adopt technology first and transform the learning environments, right? So this will to allow the student right now to grow and hone their digital skills that can be very useful when they are coming into the workforce later on in their life. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for this interesting discussions, because we can see now about we have to be aware for any for the digital wellness. This is the one that we should we always like forget. Yeah, this is the most important, but we tend to forget this one. We always said that, oh, because of the exam we need to do this one, we need to do this is to complete the curriculum, but we also need to have some tips and solutions how to maintain our digital wellness.
Mm.
So I want to each speakers, I will give you some wrap up comments. Start from Ibu Anas. The
Yeah.
wrap up, yeah. The wrap up,
The wrap up. Okay. I think from my part is that the mental health struggling for us even is very real, isn't it? And now I believe like Ibu Puspa said, it's time of learning opportunity as well of learning about mental health and resilience. For me, during this pandemic, I've got the blessing in disguise, because I do a lot of webinars making awareness about mental health during this time, and more people submit for counseling session in Indonesia, when before people still like feel it's very taboo, or there's a lot of stigmatized doing the counseling. So I believe that we can using this time to learn to live as the bamboo. Is the resilience of the bamboo that make them alive even for 100 years. Or it's like the basketball that we pull down and then they can bouncing back again, and how we help ourselves to have that kind of agility and resilience. Start by using the breathing exercise, start by having a mood journal, start for doing the 5 things that you can feel gratitude. And if you can follow me in Instagram at Anastasia Satriyo, I also have make a lot of free resources of mental health self-care, and there is in my highlight the template for every day, what things that you can say to yourself or make you have feel grateful feelings, what things that you want to say sorry to yourself, and that little encouragement for yourself that if you do it daily, it's like take the vitamins, or after the 1 month you can feel better about yourself, and when you feel better you can do better and loving your students and also your kids at home better. Thank you so much.
Okay, now from the academics, Ibu Puspa, can you give the wrap up?
I think we should have more conversation on this kind of topic, the human side of the technology. So this is one of the important topics actually, talking about digital wellness. Maybe in the future we can talk more about how this pandemic situation affect the workforce, and yeah, many other topics. So yeah, instead of having training or workshop only on upskilling or improving the skills only, and also getting more informations, I think we should also talk about something that really human, so we can take care of our mental health as well.
Okay, human technology. It's a good. I think it's a good topic to be explored. Sir, now it's yours. Your turn.
Okay. I think I agree with what is actually being shared by Bu Anas and Bu Puspa as well, right? Honestly, for me, represent Lenovo, which is actually a technology company, right? We at the first time we don't see that there will be a lot of challenges, right? Because like we tend to believe technology can actually solve a lot of issues, right? Because we live by that. But the things like in reality, right? This situation is actually creating a lot of challenges for everyone, right? Even we say that technology, just say technology is actually available for a school or teacher to use. There are tons of it, so many of it. They don't even know which one is actually the right one, right? So it will be a challenge for everyone. Yeah, we can't only see that technology will be the solution for everything. But again, as we already shared today, right? Technology and humans, we need to combine it into one, right? So at Lenovo, we also learned quite a lot of things, especially for the past 1 year. when we started to so-called have a lot of discussion with our customer globally, especially from the education institution. Then we just realized that that's how important it is to actually have a collaboration between human and also technology, right? So from Lenovo, that's why we actually launched a portal or a program called AdFusion, right? So I will actually encourage a lot of attendants right in here, participants, especially from teachers, to actually join our AdFusion. There's actually a portal for us to where we can actually so-called collaborate with each other. From technology point of view, Lenovo and our technology partner, we always constantly give a sharing, teaching for you to develop your technological skill and how to use technology to be more effective, not only to do online teaching, but it's also to be more effective in your time management for your own life as well as a teacher, right? So we do sharing on that. And you also can share in terms of best practice that you have done, right, during this pandemic period when you need to do online teaching to all your students, right? So I will encourage all of you to join our AdFusion program, yeah, so we can just learn from each other and have a sharing with each other as well. Okay, so I hope everybody will still keep healthy, stay healthy, especially to all the teachers. I believe soon or is ongoing right now. All of you is getting the vaccine right now, yeah. So I hope everything can get well for us, and we all stay healthy to go through this pandemic situation. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So this is also maybe what the Lenovo offer to us, the human technology. So Lenovo created platform for the teachers to connect to each other, sharing to each other about their own best practice, and also with the teachers and the students also.
Yeah.
So maybe later the Lenovo team can share to us through the emails that we already submitted about how to join the AdFusion program. Okay. Now we are going to answer some of the Q&A in this question in here. So I want to ask if I want to tell to the participants first, if you have a questions, don't please do in the question and answer box. Yeah, it's not in the chat because we only will read this one in the question and answer. Okay, thank you. Now the first one is from Ibu Nancy Siagian. I think this one is maybe I want to ask to Miss Puspa. Actually, sometimes I think that we are so consumed with the term of wellness, since I see many people use the term of wellness as their excuse. What do you think that one?
Ibu Ruth, I think I will pass this to Ibu Anastasia because she has answered the quite similar question.
Okay. So Ibu Anastasia.
Okay. The important things is very good question, I think, and the important things of mental health is having the right paradigm. The good enough paradigm for everything in our life is just everything in between, everything in the middle. So we need the wellness, but too much wellness. We need self-care, but too much self-care, it can become selfish, isn't it? So everything in a good amount of time, like 30 minutes for like we need taking a bath or shower every day, right? But 30 minutes is good enough, but if you do it for 3 hours, it gives us sick, and then it can make the electricity we pay higher and the end of the month maybe. So I think the wellness also has to come in a proportion level, but the proportion for each of us, for example, for each of the students in the how about in their age or in their level of study, and for us in our burden, it's kind of different. So the wellness is, I think, I believe that it should be done properly, and you using the good proportion, just the good enough things. Thank you, Burut.
Okay, so the next question is there is no name, so an anonymous attendee. Later you don't get the itu loh, Bu, the merchandise, yeah. I think if you have the anonymous like that. Okay, so this is the questions. How do we take care ourselves as teachers? As I work from home, I'm not only being a teacher for my students, but also for my daughter at home. And every day full of meeting. Okay, maybe this one is Puspa, yeah, because this one is about your education life. This
All
one.
right. I got similar complaints about these topics as well. So this is quite common topics among families, among parents, and also teachers. So I think this is time to compromise with all the family members. It is really important to build conversation with all the family members and address these problems together. And something that I can suggest, probably quite simple tips, I call it 4D. So if you experience burnout or have so many things to do, I think you can start thinking about it. The first D is do, just do it. So something that you can do now, just do it now, so you can pass one task to another. You can finish one task and then move forward to the next task. And then the second one is delegate. So if you can't do it yourself, you can delegate it to others. So this is the time you start to classifying your tasks or your jobs and think about it. So something that you really need to do yourself, and then something you can delegate, and then something that you can diminish. So you can diminish the frequency or the intensity of your task or your job. And the last one is delete. So you actually can skip one or two tasks that is not part of your priority. So yeah, it is quite a simple tips. Hopefully it's helpful. First one, do it. And then second one, delegate. Third one, diminish. And the last one is just delete it.
Yeah, okay. Oh, I like this one, the last one. Just leave it. Yes. I think I have a lot of things. Okay. I think now I want to combine that Mr. Nur Wijayanto questions to become one. If one students like have the home stress with the situation, meanwhile their parents also stress, and the teachers also can meet virtually, and also teachers sometimes also burn out during the coronavirus pandemic. So, is it anything in the Advision program that can help this kind of situations, sir?
Okay. Actually, I mean, like this whole situation, we as a parents also feel that, right? I think again, Advision, right, is a platform and a portal for us to do a sharing for everyone. Yeah, we so in Advision, it's not only you can actually learn about technology, but we also do at home at the same times, right? Hello, sorry, can you hear me? Sorry. Oh, okay. Sorry. Again, technology. We can't always rely on technology as well, right? So okay. As mentioned, right? So Advision is actually a program. Is actually the program that we created as a portal of community for all of the students and also anyone who actually in education world, right? Basically, it's not only a platform that allows you to so-called learn about technology alone. It's not, right? It's actually a platform where all of us can do a sharing. So we also do a lot of sharing, not only on the technology itself or how to use the technology, but we also can do a lot of things like how to cope up with the stress during this pandemic situation, right? We actually, a lot of technology can actually help you to have a better time management. Simple things like as a teacher, right, is not so easy for you. Just say you want to do an exam. It's not so easy for you just to make a question, right? Even if we just make like a 10 question, multiple answer question, right? It maybe takes you only like 10, 20 minutes to create a question. But when it comes to do a marking, it will take you hours to do that, especially when you have a lot of students, right? If you do a marking for like four classes, 30 or 40 students per class, that means you have to do a marking for 100 and plus students, right? It will take you a lot of times. We can actually use technology to do that. There's a technology that allows you to create a question online. Then you can actually send the question to all your students for them to do answer. And when they reply back with the answer, A, B, C, D, right? The system can actually automatically do the marking, which one is the right one. That will actually allow you to have a lot of times to spend with your family, right? So it's like how you use the technology. So with AppVision, we're actually sharing that as well. We share what are the technologies that's available for you, right? Then what is this technology can be used for you as well, right? So again, our team will actually share to you our link to AppVision. Later on, when you actually join there, you can actually experience how our AppVision can actually help you educators, right? In terms of not only learning technology, but it's also to use it to have a better life, right, during this pandemic situation. That's all for
Okay. Okay, thank you. I think I cannot wait to also explore the vision by myself, because I believe also as the educators also learners. So we have like sharing is learning also. So for all the panelists, if you have time, can you please check the Q&A box? Maybe you can answer there in not lively. So I think because of the time, we have to end it the question answer of this one panel discussion. So thank you for all panelists for your time. Now we go to the next program in this event. So about the door prize that everybody wait. Yeah. So there will be door prizes, and we prepared very interesting merchandise for the first 50 participants who fill out the feedback form at the end of the event. Now, we want to have the door prize now, I think. Yes, we are waiting that one, yeah. Or if we have still have time, maybe I will see this one in here. Oh, it's already answered all. Okay, I want to ask especially to Lenovo, maybe, can you please tell us, we are now in the school, so we already see the video. What is that? How the Lenovo help to lighten our burden in the distant learning situation, sir? The solution for the Lenovo.
Oh, okay. Actually, for us, right, Lenovo itself, for the past 1 year, as I mentioned, right, we have a chance to have a lot of discussion with our customer from the education institution, right? From there, we actually learn something, especially during the online learning. So initially, we also thought that online learning is just like you need an online apps, connect to it, then invite all the students to just join. But it's actually more than that, right? In Lenovo, we actually work with our alliances partner. So we don't only use Lenovo own technology, but we also combine technologies from our alliances partner, like Microsoft, right? With their Microsoft Teams for collaboration, right? One of the key partner in this case is actually Microsoft. Their Teams for education, they can actually sort of allow teachers to create their own virtual classroom where they can actually have their student there. They can share some materials, some topics to discuss everything in that chat room. It's just like your own class, right? So we actually provide that. We provide the not only on the platform, but it's also technology devices. We can actually help a school, right, in terms of do some assessment on what is actually needed by the school. Then we will come in to do everything for the school. We will do the assessment on what you need. We will come up with the devices, the software, the infrastructure, everything that you need. We will come in and set up everything for you. We also will provide a training for you on how to use the technology to be more effective in your teaching learning process, right? So we're actually preparing all of those. Yeah. Plus, we also so-called providing support, because for school, your competency is actually teaching, right? But you do not want to waste time in maintaining all those technology. That will be our job that we need to provide to you. So Lenovo, we as a technology company, we already prepare a set of like a solution that we can actually help school coping with this situation. We even right now is already preparing a solution for school who wants to adopt a hybrid blended learning in the coming few months, because it could be for the second half, right, of this year. We might be able to so-called do a conduct face-to-face teaching learning again in school. But of course, we have to have a very strict health protocols, right? Because this COVID situation is not finished yet, right? So we do have that solution. We do have a solution right now that can actually help to detect a student or anyone who wants to come to your school in terms of like their body temperatures, right? We have a thermal scanner. They can actually scan you. We even have a camera that can actually so-called warn people or remind people to keep wearing their mask. Yeah. Or we even can have a solution that will give an alert or warn people like don't be too close with each other in one big group. Yeah. And we also can do attendance system. Even though they're wearing masks, right, we still can actually recognize, oh, this is Budi, this is Anto, this is Santi, or someone, students, right? Then can link to the attendance system. We provide that as well. We even provide like our distance learning. Right now, they're actually adopting for you to do a blended learning. So might be like half of your student will be in the class and half of them will join from their home, but they still can collaborate with each other in real time, real life, right? We provide that kind of solution to school right now. So as a technology platform company, we are here to help a student, and we're also here to help an institution to provide a better teaching and learning experience during this pandemic situation that will change and already change the way we conduct a training or a student and teaching in school right now. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, Lenovo team, can we do the door prize now already? Okay. So I will guide ya. Start. Okay. Stop. Okay. So the winner is Bapak Eko Herupe. Which one is the person? Is here still? Hello, Pak Eko. Oke, Pak Eko is raise hand. Oke, Pak Eko dari sekolah mana, Pak Eko? Pak Eko dari sekolah mana, Pak? Oh, SD Kristen Gloria 2. Good. Gloria dari Surabaya ya, Pak? Selamat ya, Pak Eko. Udah dapat itu door prize-nya. Oke. Udah? Oke, and then if you already ThinkPad one headphone. Okay. Wah, ThinkPad. Okay, good. Wah. Okay, now please fill the feedback form. To all participants, thank you for coming. Hopefully that we PSSI also will come with another event that make us all learning the new things again during the pandemic. So thank you for coming. Thank you for joining the this webinar, and thank you for all the panelists, Ibu Anastasia, Ibu Puspa, dan Bapak Johny. Thank you for everything. Goodbye all. Stay healthy, everybody. Bye.